What's going on, guys? Here we are again, August 23rd. God, it just keeps moving. It seems like we were just here. So, welcome to the Mōtley Crōc Show. We got a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about what to do when you live in a haunted house. We're also going to talk about the Satanic Panic with Jeff Goldblatt. I'm really looking forward to that because he always makes my fucking day with that. And a couple other things, and I'm sure we'll have people coming in and popping in some comments and asking questions. So behind the scenes right now, I have Jeff. He's popped in there, so I'm going to bring my boy in, the Prince of Dorkness. I love it, dude. I love it. What's going on, buddy?
Nothing much. Just recovering from Daytona, and my voice is still coming back. All the yelling,
pretty cool,
hooting and hollering and partying and whatnots.
That's really cool.
What's up, Michelle?
Michelle's in. What's going on?
First
people popping in tonight. We'll hear Jimmy May grace us with his presence. What's going on, Ange? Ange will be down soon. She's bringing her kiddos down to hang out here in Florida pretty soon, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty badass. Yeah, Jimmy's on the road, I think. So he said he may pop in, which is kind of cool. So he's out there. Samantha, what's going on?
Samantha?
She's one of our biggest homies, I swear. So tell me, Jeff, how'd your week go up there at the expo? I'm sure some people were there.
Captain wants to say hi too. Hi, buddy. Say hi.
Hey, what's going on? Oh, look who just popped in. We also have Bumblebee Tuna.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
So, yeah, Brittany, what we're going to talk about is I want to hear how Jeff did. I know he was up at the Breeders' Expo, which is a big reptile event, and exotic animals, too. They usually sneak a bunch of stuff in there. But reptile exotic animal event up in Daytona, which is awesome. How'd you do, Jeff? Let's hear about it.
It was great, man. It was, I went there. I got there Friday night.
Okay.
And I got set up all by my lonesome, which was cool, actually. I got out of the house 5 minutes before I expected to, which is a first time. Not dragging anybody behind me, no kids in tow. And I got up to Daytona. I got set up, settled in, and put on my drinking shoes. Went out, had some drinks, saw some people. It was fun. It was great. And the show itself was huge. It was the biggest I've ever seen it. Hey, what's going on, Michael?
Hey, Michael, what's up, buddy?
And, money-wise, I did awesome. The best I've ever done by twice. So it was killer. I picked up some cool animals, picked up some cool gopher snakes and some Splendida, some desert kings. And
that's awesome. Just more things you have to feed and take your time.
Exactly, dude. Exactly. Well, that's why I got a vasectomy, so I didn't have to do that. And then I went and bought some snakes. So, now I got to feed that.
Now you got way more mouths to feed. I understand it. I'm not gonna lie, I get it completely, but sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes it's mad.
Or snake or the animals. Yeah, it is worth it when I actually came home to a big clutch of eggs. And what's up, Reptile Encounters? And I met them at the show, the Reptile Encounters guys. And awesome. I ran into Kurt, but he was too busy doing Kurt shit.
Kurt's always busy doing Kurt shit, man.
Right, for real. And I ran into a lot of cool people. It was a lot of fun, man. And I would definitely do it again. It was huge. There was 2 rooms this time. They opened up a whole nother room, which they decided to open for an hour before opening the big room, which was kind of a shit show, but people were pretty pissed. I think they were just trying to funnel people into the new room, and I get it, but
it's yeah, sometimes those conventions and their promoters, sometimes they just
yeah.
You know what I find a lot of times?
Wayne got a love money.
I mean, this is really, really true. What's up, Dan? Good to see you, buddy.
Hey, what's going on, Dan?
Hey, Dan.
Michelle Renee wants to know which one laid eggs.
Hey, Michelle.
It was the watermelon girl, the one left side, halfway up. As soon as I got home, she had a clutch full of 9 good eggs. And
well, that's badass.
Yet more tricolors hatching. So it was, but yeah, man, it was awesome, dude. I brought home some cool stuff. I could have spent $50,000 without even blinking an eye and just been happy as a clam. But
some of the stuff that I find interesting is, and you'll understand what I mean, Jeff. Like you really have to stay immature and up to date on everything that's going on around you at all times, because I'll find that a lot of time. What's up, Craig? Good to see you, buddy. I'm always glad when you're here, Craig.
Craig.
I love Craig.
Little Craig.
Well, I just love Craig. He's awesome.
He is awesome, man. He came by and saw me a bunch of times, and a lot of people helped me out because I was at the booth by myself. They were bringing me food, watching the booth. A bunch of people I didn't know decided to buy me dinner at the hotel. Because, they're like, oh, you can't be alone for dinner. I was like, all right. Because I was going to sit down, and they bought me dinner and shit. So it was rad, man. It was really cool stuff.
That's killer. Yeah. So what I was saying is that you got to stay kind of immature and up with things. Like, a lot of these guys the old school dudes that do the promotion of their big events or whatever, they're very old men with very old ideas, and things have extremely changed. I mean, we have online booking now, and we have hashtagging, and we have QR codes and things like that. Like, you can scan now at a place and get in with a QR code. It's not Billy Bob at the door with no teeth. You got to park over there, and then they're going to park. You know what I mean? Because you've been to the events. So it's cheaping right when you get there. I'm a big believer in customer service. Like, I think you should take care of a couple of your people. When you got the parking attendants that smell like shit and their clothes don't fit them, or their genitals are hanging out and their teeth look like corn on the cob.
I don't know where you're parking your car, brother.
It's just Tampa's always like that. Always. So,
know where you're parking.
Always. So it's like, they forget about that. And then they're like, oh, well, we'll shove this person here and we'll do this and we'll do that. And then they kind of forget about, the whole purpose of it. So it's kind of like, how it goes, man. Customer service anywhere across the line. What's up, Jitty? Across the line has completely taken a shit. Completely.
I agree with that 100%. People don't engage in customer service anymore at all. It's just, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening. That was a great point. Go ahead.
You go through a drive-through and it's like, me, man. I'm like, hey, how's it going? I may be a little bit boisterous, and I got a big personality, and that's not for everybody to like, but I try really hard. And you get a cup of coffee and you're like, good morning, and they're like, $2.62, and you're, oh, okay, well, you have a nice day, and they just turn around, and I always go, I'm gonna have one too. Drive away.
I agree, but I mean, I guess we've all been somewhere we don't want to be, but I find that the older I get, it's where you want to be is where you put yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you can get up with the mentality that I'm going to be a piece of shit and I'm not going to do anything, or I'm going to go work for a fast food joint because I hate it, and I'm going to make everybody else's life suck because I suck.
Yep.
And that's really what it is. So until you really go out and do what you want to do, or you can make your own day, man. You can make your own day. We've all been guilty of having a shit day. I have a shit day. Everybody has a shit day,
Okay.
But for the most part, like, I'm hungry, dude. So now I'm always motivated to do something. I don't care whose feelings I hurt. I don't care what the hell's going on. I'm motivated to get through it. And then if you got these people in your life that don't understand that, friends, co-workers, spouses, boyfriends, girlfriends, they, them, and thosies, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're like that, man, it's about the growth. We have plenty of time later on here, man.
We shouldn't be dragging people down anyway. We're supposed to be supporting each other, especially if we're there for each other. We're supposed to be building each other up and not tearing each other down. And if you have somebody that's literally bringing you down, then cut the weight and just surface. Go right to the surface and let them drown. You don't need them in your life.
And they're around you, man. They're around you every day. Like,
they are.
You be at work, and it's like they want to come in and bitch about their job. Yeah.
Oh my God, I was in McDonald's. I'm not kidding.
Liabilities.
The guy that took care of me at McDonald's was so rude, and it took everything inside of me to like refrain from the inner dragon, because I literally was like, so you got my order, it's plain. He's like, that is what you wrote down, or that is what I wrote down, right? And I was like, okay, buddy. Okay. So then I pull up and I said, so you have the 2 Happy Meals, right? Like the cheeseburger has to be plain because my son's sensitive. Like, so I have to make sure it's plain. And he's like, that's what it said, didn't it? And I was just like,
I was throwing that burger right at him. Like,
the thing was, I had to pay. Like, I was like sitting there like, are you seriously talking to me like this? So then I hand him the card and I was like, thank you. And he's like, yeah. Mm-hmm. And like,
that's the worst. Don't say anything.
No, it's awful. Like, but he was so like, even when I pulled up and he's like, is anyone there? I said, yeah. And he goes, all right, go ahead with whatever. Not go ahead with your order. It was go ahead with whatever.
Nothing like that. No, you know what you should have done? This is exactly what Brittany, you are frozen in the greatest face I've ever seen. It's better now. So here's what you should have done. You should look at the burger and be like, this isn't plain. And he said, what do you mean? You throw it out and be like, now it's got asshole on it. Go make me another one.
I believe in living like that. I actually really like that. I really like that. I think that's a great thing to do. It's funny you say that because I was watching this YouTube the other night. You get in the rabbit hole, and it was something about vengeance in the drive-thru, and they would get these asshole people that work in the drive-thru, bro, and they would order as much food as they can, just slam Slurpees off of them and fucking pull them through the window, dude. It's throw a bag of burning dog shit at them. It's like the greatest thing because it's like you're going to go to work. Somebody just gets off work, right? They got a family. They got to run through and grab something to eat or whatever. And you got to go and there's some dickhead trying to do that to you after you dealt with it all day. No, I even when I'm doing what I do or I'm with, even if I hate the crowd, I still pretend because there's some people in that crowd that work hard and they have their family there and they want to have a good time. And I don't mind being boisterous and telling them to fuck off. I think it's one of the greatest things you can do is call somebody out on their bullshitness all the time, dude.
I always like hanging out with you. When I first started hanging out with you, Troy, you've never been afraid to call somebody out on their bullshitness.
Thank you.
You have no, you go, I've seen you do it to the point where, everybody that was with us is like, oh my God, you really just said that.
And you know what? But I want that done to me too. Like if I do something and somebody's like upset about it, come to me, Jeff. Like, look, like, hey man,
that
was uncool. That beat around the bush shit, that little meek, and I don't like that, man. Just
no. Stand up for yourself too.
Yeah, Dan does too. Dan does it so much he gets in trouble. He's in a little different position than we are, Jeff. So when he does it gets reported. They're like, this guy called us a numbskull. Or Dan will be like, everybody knows that's stupid. Of course you can't slap a flamingo. What's wrong with you? Did you go to fourth grade?
little aspy, I guess.
What's up, David? Zeke, glad you came in tonight. It's good to see you, buddy.
Hey, David.
Dude, I get so tired of it, man. And it's okay. I had shitty jobs, plenty. And you know what? I hated them, but I freaking got through the day and made the best of it with a smile on my face. And then, I used to freaking flip people off in my pocket. That way I was happy. They didn't know.
And they didn't know.
I love it. Finger out and be like, what you asshole.
I'm all about. Go ahead, Brittany. Go ahead. Shoot.
No, it's just like, it really annoys me because it's like, sometimes we have jobs that suck, but that's not the person coming through the window's fault. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we're all going to have shitty days. We're going to have bad days. We're going to have days where, like really the universe is just taking a crap, like right on our lap, but that's not anybody else's fault. We're adults. We're big people. We can handle our own issues and not reflect that on other people. And like when that happens through drive-thrus or like fast food services, it's like, you're making $15 an hour. You realize you're making what people go to college to make. Or more.
So
I'm like, it just doesn't matter. It's just rude. Like, don't be rude. It's so annoying. There's too much.
What's up, Edwin? How you doing, buddy?
What's going on, Edwin? I saw Edwin and Shirley at the show. They were great. Yeah, you know what the thing is? They don't realize we're just like them. We have a crappy job. The only difference is we want a cheeseburger. So we're going through their
exactly. But if the tables were turned,
assistant jizz mopper trainee, and I want a fucking cheeseburger. I got a shitty job too.
Look, man.
The thing, though,
I remember
if the tables were turned, though, he'd be pissed. Like he'd be pissed if somebody didn't get his order right. If the tables were turned, he'd want nice customer service. He'd be like, "I worked customer service. I know what it's like. They shouldn't be talking to me like this."
John Brickle, what's up, homie?
You to do it? No.
Corey, good to see you, man.
Hey, what's up, Corey? Yeah, no. If he came to my place for an erotic massage and I made him wait, you think he'd be pissed or what?
This is right. I know. Are you referencing Dominic there, Daniel? Yeah. Everybody always calls him fake because he lays there. Because everybody knows crocodiles are ambush predators. They do a real good job of sitting fucking still. I totally understand it. But sometimes people really don't understand that. And I have to catch myself too sometimes because something will come out really stupid and I have to look around. MTV's out here with some cameras.
I know that look too. I know Brittany knows that look too.
I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Because it's like, I think that,
man,
I don't know. Some questions are stupid.
You just put on your PR face instantly.
So, I do. I do it a lot. But there's even people that you're going to find in your life. Like I remember, and so does Jeff, because we both did it. We both did the apprenticeship in a tattoo shop when we were young. And you're treated like shit. You want to talk about dog shit, Supreme? Bro.
Oh, I've had him
anyways
on the floor and tell me to go.
But I thought it was cool, man. There was the guys that were just really cool, the old school artists or whatever, piercers, whatever. The guys that have been around a really long time, and they weren't that dickish. They just expected something like they had these priorities.
People, because I've been around a while.
Right, so you know what I mean. Like it's like, that's awesome, John. That's awesome. Let me catch up real quick, and I'll finish that. Talking about stupid people, I've laughed several pieces. They have asked if cows are related to cattle. That's because you work for Disney, and the people that go there live in, unicorn farts and mouth puffs. I mean, that's a whole different ball of wax there.
Farts and rainbows, man.
Sir, is that bird gonna bite me? No, but I will if you ask me that again. Yes, Daniel will fly it off the chain sometimes.
Oh,
John, as someone who always stays quiet, I can't contribute here. I hate the idea of someone's feelings got hurt. John is probably one of the biggest pieces of shit I've ever met in my life, and he has the most interesting way of introducing harassment or profanity into a way that they enjoy it. I'm just telling you.
Right.
If you're ever around Mr. Brickle, you will totally understand what I'm saying. I used to love it because it made my day. He would say things, and everybody was just too scared to say, and he would say it, and people wouldn't even know, man. They just keep talking, just looking at John like, oh, my God, but it was perfect. So I know what he gets at by that.
Well, when people come to the show, they're like, well, do these snakes bite? I usually look at their kids and be like, you got a little brother or sister? Yeah. Well, now tell your parents that anything with a little mouth can bite. So, it's we don't guarantee.
You get mad, and some people get really hurt. Like, oh my, because there's this fake thing though, Jeff, that they're breeding, because there's a lot of these people. God, I hate even associating with it anymore because it's so asinine and stupid, and you're all just. I just don't even want to associate. But all these new little like people that come up with these little designer things and little, hot purple tail blue Miami phase geckos and agamas are make the greatest pets, and they make statements. They don't bite. They're blah blah blah.
Oh,
and so when people go to these shows, they go, "Oh, I want to get a starter." One of those things my kid saw on YouTube that doesn't bite you to get them started, and they don't realize that that's not true because one of those little firetail agama super skinks.
They hurt too.
Might have a fucking bad fucking day, bro.
Mess up your fingers, man. I've been bit by some of the agamas that I've been chasing. I chase around Miami sometimes, and those things they hurt.
My frog bit me last night for the first time.
Which one?
That was not fun. Big
Miss
Mama.
Big
No,
Mama
Big
bit
Mama.
you? How'd she bite? She doesn't. But they don't bite. Must have been an accident.
Nope. It had to have been. But
When has
last night
anybody
I
ever
was
heard of a
like,
cane toad biting?
Man,
she got me. She didn't hurt. It didn't hurt, but she got me. And then I
Was
looked
she just
at her,
trying
and
to?
it was
Did
just
she see
like,
movement? She did movement, right? Like she.
no,
she
because
just,
she's not hand fed like my other ones.
why'd she just reach out to bite you?
No, she now has my whole back porch as her home. Like I just let her roam, and she has this big dish that she can go in.
It's all closed in, folks. They can't escape. Don't go fucking crying.
No, it's all screened in.
I just want to put that out there.
they're out there anyway at one point or another. So
but like last night I went to pick her up, and I had my finger. I think it was just my finger may have been too close to the front of her mouth, possibly. But she like opened and like, and I was like, did that
That's
just
a great
happen,
statement,
Big
Craig.
Mama? But yeah. No, Miss Piggy's got me a couple times.
That's good, Craig. That's a good one.
yeah,
I
got
African bullfrogs bite. That
she
reminds
got
me, Craig.
By
Go ahead,
accident. She's very sweet.
Had to be because cane toads just don't bite. Craig, while I'm thinking about it, man, the other day I was shopping up at the Publix, like normal people do, and there was a kid. He was probably, and I say kid, but he's probably 29, 30 years old, and he was just fucked up, man. He was just fucked up on drugs, and we don't know his problems or whatever.
Was he working there?
No, man, he just came in. They come in and they get like a cup of ice, you know what I mean? They try to get a cup of ice. And he was so far out of it, he just poured Gatorade in it. And I don't know, he didn't. And so they call the police, right? So I'm still shopping and I'm coming out and I'm bringing groceries. I'm trying to paint this picture so you understand. He comes by me, he's like, hey, man, do you have a cigarette? I'm like, nah, man, I don't smoke. Man, you shouldn't either, unless it's green. He's like, oh, all right. But you can tell he just was not there. So here comes Dudley Do-Right and Deputy Dingleweed coming in. All 5'1" of them, guns as long as their fucking leg, harassing them. Put the cup down. And I'm sitting in my car. I'm watching him just abuse this kid, man. He's like, whoa, what'd I do? Because, yeah, he was a little scummy. He might have been on some drugs, man. And everybody's got issues, okay? So, he really didn't do anything. It's not like he was in there blowing the place up or beating up assailants,
And if he left when they told him to.
Yeah. And so the cops are there, and, the one guy's like big. He's all neck. He's real fat. And the other guy's look like he's 15. Watch out, guys. Like if you were like to sneeze or fart, he'd snap in half if he didn't have that big badge to protect him kind of cop. And they're harassing this guy. And they must forget, man, that they're there to serve and protect. Now, the guy wasn't doing anything. And it's just a class thing that they're disgusting to me, man. The way they act, the way most of them act. But I can tell you this, if I've ever been stopped and I lived on the other side of things, you guys can say whatever you want. There's a lot of posers out there to talk shit. I lived on the other side of that law enforcement world, and I'll tell you, when I've been pulled over by enforcement agents, or they've come into us and raided us where we were laying, or yanking us out of whatever the fuck they were doing. They were professionals. If I was ever stopped by an FHP officer, professional. Never once was it a joke. These other fucking butt clowns that they get out here that just harass everybody because they got nothing else to do. Listen, 2 guys pulled me over. I just bought that scooter, a red scooter, for Cody to go to work on. I was bringing it back. Of course, it didn't have a tag on it, and I figured, you know what, I'll just come up the back roads, the sidewalk, just like all the battery-operated ones, et cetera, et cetera. And I came up, and then there was 2 cops sitting all the way across the street. Just graduated, bro. The shirts couldn't have been fresh from Kmart any sooner than they put them on, right? They drive up real fast. First thing they do is they jump out of the car. Me and, Katie was with me, and we're sitting there, and they're like, and it's cold out. And they're like, the reason you want to know why we pulled you over, you didn't have a plate. And I said, well, how? I was getting really mad, man. I'm like, well, how do you know that? Well, you were way over there. But you pulled up. You didn't pull me over. You saw me and you came over here. Next thing you know is he takes my identification. He comes back. He asked me, oh, how long have you been affiliated? And for those of you that know. And I said, well, how do you know that? He goes, oh, it's on your file. I want to help you get rid of this, so I need to get all of your tattoos photographed. So I wanted to tell him to fuck off, okay? But I didn't, because I knew if I did it, they'd probably take the bike and say I assaulted them and then arrest me and because that's what they do. Yep. So I'm have to take all my shirt and everything off in the middle of the parking lot in front of everybody so he can photograph my former tattoos and some of my other stuff, And he goes, oh, I'm doing this to help you so I can prove you're retired. Like, what the fuck, man? You're just harassing people because you can. And that's what I said. And that's proof, because Katie was standing right there, so she saw the whole thing. I didn't make it up. They were just being douche nozzles like most of them are. Period. End story. Right? I'm sorry I'm fired up about them, dude. They're just assholes. And I saw that kid and I thought, what if he was abused?
Based on your image. That's all it was. And they did that. They used to do that to you all the time. When you were active and when you were not active, they did it specifically by the way you looked. They would do it all the time. Well,
Jeff and I have run into that, like we've talked about it before on the show. But I mean, the snakes always dress like preachers. Don't forget that. So at the end of the day, man, it's just like I just watched it and it actually bothered me. Like I don't know if I was talking. I was probably talking to my mom or something. I was able to vent about it to her, but this kid, you don't know what this kid's. You don't have no idea. Maybe he came from a great family and he's a real asshole, but that's your job to find out what's going on to help him and get that worked out. Not to be, all right, sir. And then they got these big glasses on. Now they don't wear aviator glasses anymore, Jeff. They wear Costas. They wear Costa Del Mar.
Oh, yeah. Wrap around.
The biggest ones they can find with the blue iridium. Like, look at me, motherfucker.
Got to be in camo.
They fucking sleep in those things. It's unbelievable. So, I mean, there's a lot I could bitch about like that. And what's this one? Tell me this has happened to you, Jeff. You go to the gas station, and there's always, if you go early enough in the morning, there's always 3 pink, fat, bloated guys in fishing shirts, PAG shirts, taking up all the gas things, yelling and screaming across the gas at each other, loaded up with beer like these big, purple, bloated pigs, taking up everything when there's other people trying to get done. Then they want to have a conversation and drink their coffee and look at their boats, why people need gas. You ever seen that here in Florida?
I've seen that many times.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. I'm not the only one.
Many times, dude.
Like early morning hours, you'll see them.
Oh yeah, and they they come in like their car blocks half of it, and then their buddy parks behind.
Thank you, Craig.
Another pump. It's terrible.
Yeah, and it's always like in a like a one of those and they're always like really swelled out. You know what I'm saying? It's just
That's
and there's always like 6 to 8, 19-year-old girls with them. You know what I mean, Jeff?
Yep. CHF.
So they can go out on the boats and stuff and do their Instagram photos. These old guys, and they stand around. And all I want to do is just take my dually and run the boat over and them and all of their beer, get gas, and go have an ice cream. Call you and tell you about it. That's how I feel about it sometimes.
I listen to and I'd enjoy the conversation.
Have an ice cream and call Jeff.
Laugh my ass off.
I would if I ran one of those guys over. Of course, I don't want to kill anybody, so don't go get weird. But if I ran one over and he shit himself and the boat was ruined, I'd go get an ice cream and call Jeff.
That is true.
Jeff, guess what happened? So this guy he just did it today. He looked around with that big purple face and smart ass, and I ran him over.
I don't know what's been going on lately, to be honest. It seems like even in my field work, things are getting out of control where there's just so much. There's a lot of people that are fake. Oh, thank you. It's coming along. I don't know what's going on. There's just a lot of people that are they just say mean things just to say mean things, or they're just hurtful, or they're posing, or they really shouldn't be talking about what they're talking about. And it's like intensifying, and they're becoming jerks, and they're becoming rude, and they're thinking, and I don't like this whole superior act that there's certain people that are acting where they act like they're above you. It's happening even in the paranormal space where it's like, come on, you're no better than anybody else. Do you have more proof than we do? Then show it. Don't sit here and talk behind your keyboard like you're somebody special. Like, it's the most annoying thing. And I've had friends that have been attacked recently, like verbally attacked in a very mean way. And it's terrible. It's like there's just no respect anymore for people or anybody. Like I said earlier.
Brittany?
Huh?
Like in the paranormal world, they attacked you, you mean verbally?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's bad. It's bad in the paranormal scope. It's bad. It's not so much in the UFO community, but in the paranormal field, yeah, it's getting really bad. I don't know why. I stay out of it. I don't get involved, but I have my friends who call and vent to me because I'm like, I'm sorry that happened to you. You know, it's just rude.
The tattoo world's rife with that shit, and the reptile world. You know, it's everybody. I
think it's every world you indulge yourself in.
Literally, entertainment is the number one. It is the most dog like everybody's.
I know that's why we thrive so well in it, Jeff.
I'm trying to say you're above me, that you have more dog eat dog than my world does, Brittany. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
Yes, I'm going to be one of those people. Yes, exactly.
I see it all the time.
It pisses me off. I hate it. I really hate it.
Yeah, I put to bed 2 really long-standing feuds that I had with people going in the reptile world this week, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
Nice.
There was one that I wanted to fight every Daytona since, and I finally last year I just called. He went and hugged Emily when we were married, and he was getting really close with her. So I was like, let's go take a walk down the sand, because I was coming out of Joe's Crab Shack, and he's just like, I was like, I'm not fucking kidding. And I stopped, and I
that's so true, Craig.
That's true, Craig.
What did you say, Craig? I missed what Craig said.
No, Craig said because everybody has a YouTube degree.
A YouTube degree.
I love it.
I went to YouTube mechanic school. I freaking went to YouTube like my own hair school. I failed.
Bro, there isn't anything you can't find on there now if you want to find out how to do something.
Are you part of the Nailed It community? Jeff?
Nailed it. I'm gonna start doing that every time I breed a nice snake. I'm gonna do a YouTube video and be like, nailed it.
No, I think that's really good, man. There's a lot of that going on, and you know, I think a lot. This is how I get through it, Jeff. I've learned that every behavior, and believe me, it's a fucking fight for me. It's a fight for me inside. But every behavior that I have is a choice, right? Yep. So I can either be sad, I can be mad, I can be happy. Even if I'm really pissed at somebody, like now I see some people that, you know, there's a lot of backbiters, and there's a lot of people that do think, like, I can honestly say I've never fucked anybody over in the reptile world, never did something terrible I wouldn't back up, never done any of that. I don't care what you hear say, that's always a lie. I don't do that because I've never been a reptile dealer like these people, these little mud suckers. I don't care about that. I've never made money selling geckos. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day,
one thing.
Go ahead.
If anybody knows Troy and has known him, like you know him, there's 2 things that he sticks to. It's honor and respect. Those are 2 big codes that matter, and commitment. Right. But those 2 top ones matter the most to him. And when
I know, and that's why what I was going to touch on. I get worked up.
I'm just saying, from an outside, though, it's not just you talking. People need to know that is the truth. Like,
well, here's the deal. Here's the deal. I'll tell you.
Out there.
Well, thank you. I mean, you're obviously biased. You're my sister, but I understand. Thank you.
I can call you an asshole too. You can be, but on those 2 things,
he wasn't one.
Exactly.
I've been that a few times, but you know, I would get really pissed off at that. I would get really pissed off, and I would let it bother me because I chose to let it bother me, right?
Right.
And I remember Flavio telling me, "You have to expect that, man. I mean, it's your fault now for being upset because you have to expect it." And so, you know, he's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. And you can see, like, I associate with a different group of people now, and you can see, like, the poser people, and I mean posers at life, not just reptile people or band stuff or whatever, but just poser people. Like, they'll even go and get fancy shirts made and stuff with their logo on it, but they're not even incorporated. They have no insurance, but they try to sell themselves, or they're leeching off this guy or calling this guy, "Hey, can I get on your policy so I can do a show? I'll give you 10%. Man, fuck you. Go get your own shit, you fucking cocksucker. And so at the end of the day, you let it get to you, and then I'll be all mad, like, man, fuck these people. Now I don't even care. So when I'm sitting down, I haven't known Troy long, but working with him, I've learned quickly his character and appreciate the way he opened the same point of views. Yeah, I'm not even going to go into it on the air. I was talking about some shit one time, and Samantha goes, yeah, that was me. And I'm like, well, it's out there. It's a funny story. It's nothing she did. It's just something that happened in her life. And then I said my views on it, and she's like, yeah. And then she's like really like kind of stone cold about it too. Like, yeah, this is life kind of thing. And I always respected that. So Samantha will go far because she doesn't have that crybaby. You have to notice me personality. You didn't notice that I trained the bird. You didn't notice I trained the bird. That kind of shit. And then she just does it. Fuck it. And that's what I really appreciate.
Oh yeah, no, I saw all the content creators this weekend, and hey, they work hard and whatever. It's all good, but don't think that because you have a good hook or a good personality and you get a lot of freaking likes and clicks that makes
fucking
anybody else, man. I can go.
Nobody cares. Work harder, right, Jeff? Nobody fucking cares.
Absolutely. It's great. Like, hey, if somebody wants to give you kudos, good. But if you want to fucking go out and fish for them, then you don't deserve them.
That's true.
Posers are the people with Animal IG, and they really don't care for them. Yeah, posers are everywhere. Corey's laughing. Let me tell you something, man. Corey's got a lot of potential, too. I like to push people up. I like to see them succeed. And sometimes I seem brash, Jeff, and you've known me a long time.
Oh, I know.
But it's because in the industry that I'm in, if I'm working in the entertainment industry or even doing show work with people, and Flavio will tell you, too, it's a cutthroat industry. Not that it's cutthroat like I'm going to do better, but they'll shit on you and trash you, man, very much so. And I think that what's funny is that they might not like me in the beginning when they first meet me or whatever, but I try to push them because there are people a lot worse than me. If you go to auditions and you really stand up, there's a lot. But Corey's going to be one of those guys. He can take a lot of criticism. Daniel too, man. He's come a long way when working with him. And in the beginning he would get worked up everything he said. Get out of my fucking head, bro. But now he's like, oh, whatever, it's you, fuck it. And then he'll have some good comebacks. And I've watched his whole mental outlook on things come a lot better. And I think that I grew up that way. Especially coming into the animal world, back in the old days, years ago, when there was weren't allowed to be a snowflake and get away with it, kind of thing. That was like, oh fuck you, get out of here, you little, you know what I mean? And that's how they treated you. So you either had to like prove what your weight was or you wouldn't. So I would get mad at that, Jeff, because people weren't doing it for me. So they would be disrespectful. But I want to see these people succeed. Because
I'm the same way, man.
As a follower of my own self and my own ideologies, or the Church of Satan, or however you want to put it, you're supposed to push the person in front of you forward, correct?
Absolutely. That is
that means the person. So right, the moral of that story is, for the dum-dums that don't understand that, is the person to your right now is supposed to be pushing you, right? So it takes one little whiny crybaby cunt of a human, mostly men. Because women, I believe, are a lot tougher, especially in the industry. They're just a lot more harder. It's the men. They're like, you didn't notice that I have the kookaman, and they give themselves these ridiculous names online and shit. And these people are supposed to push, and it takes one little cunt like that to cut that off. And now you're kind of falling because you're trying to hold this person and the next person. And that, to me, is where you just got to get rid of them. Those kind of people, I don't care. I don't care if I hurt your feelings or you've been friends with me for fucking 20 years. If you're going to slow me down, I'm done now. I'm getting old. When I was young, I rubber banded that shit around. It was no big deal. Now I'm too old to give two fucks about you. So if you're going to do that to us and not help, hasta luego. Then don't sit there and wonder why you're still waiting on somebody else to take you somewhere, or you're still broke and you really can't afford anything without taking money from other people, etc. And we've all been there. Yeah. I just choose not to be that person.
Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. I think that you can't have an anchor around your neck at this age, and
Kim was mad at me a whole year. The only times I've ever actually been mad with you is when you've been brutally honest with me, because you ask and you make me do it. I never want to be that way with you. That's Craig, true. I am going to get Brittany one of those big brown globes where the contents are quite true. Scale replace that one on her shelf. All right.
Oh, the one for my kids, yeah. That's very Sounds good, Craig. I'll take you up on it. Oh, I found one that was vintage. It was $300, but it said it was going to give it to me $150. I said, no, I'm not. No, it was like made of leather and stuff.
I think that's amazing. That's really cool shit. And, we got to get on some stuff, too. We're having fun, talking some shit. It's 8:35. I do want to get into some stuff. Jeff, you had some stuff on the new Satanic Panic. I've been listening to,
I actually have some new podcasts I've been listening to that are great. And they're more, it's Ben from last podcast.
Those guys are the shit, man.
Dude, it's Abe Lincoln's Top Hat. It's this political podcast, and I was just listening to one about I don't know if y'all remember, anybody that lived through the 80s remembers the Satanic Panic and Geraldo.
I lived it. Yes.
Geraldo
his nose.
The McMartin preschool thing where they were, they were manipulating kids, and they were telling people that, oh yeah, they flushed them down a toilet into the satanic room. And parents are believing this shit. It was look up McMartin preschool, Brittany. You'll shit at how much crazy stuff.
No, you do it, Kim. I know Kim's watching. You look at Kim gets really upset when I let her watch some really dumb Satanic Panic shit, and she got really upset.
It's crazy. And you know what? In every town there was a story of the satanic coven that lived in the woods and burned and ate kids and worshiped the devil and all this other shit. None of it really ever happened. There was none.
What's up, Nikki?
Hey, what's up, Nikki? And it got to the point where people would laugh about it, like, how do we believe this and how do we think about this kind of stuff? And you look at it now, and it's all coming back. I was just looking at I don't know, who Dr. Oz is, right?
Yeah.
His opponent is John Fetterman, and whatever your politics are, he came out this week and said that John Fetterman was a satanic groomer. Or just said it. You could just say shit now. It was him. It was Steve Bannon and who was representing Dr. Oz more or less. And it's like, how can people start to believe this shit again? So I started looking at statistics. Who was it that worked for Disney again? I forgot.
Samantha, right?
Samantha.
I
Samantha
worked for Disney back in the day,
I think
but
she's
she
at
works
Animal
Disney
Kingdom
right now.
Oh, okay. There's 30%
She's still there.
of adults that believe that Disney is engaging in satanic grooming. Ridiculous, man. And all this stuff starting to come back. And
what's funny when they use the word satanic, Jeff, and you say that all the time. Because remember, for those of you that just popped in or tuning in, because I see a lot of numbers flying from different levels here. So we talk a lot with the paranormal, the Satanic Panic, ideologies, deities, fake deities, religion, etc. And so it's just funny when everything always seems to counteract itself. And so what he was just talking about, the Satanic Panic, Disney's practicing what? Sacrificing goats and drinking blood? Because true Satanism is not about that.
And they believe that there's, hundreds of thousands of kids getting killed every year. Who are these kids? There's not enough milk cartons in the world to take care of this shit. It's ridiculous that people buy into this bullshit.
You're gonna lose more kids to the sex slave industry than you ever will to the Satanic Church. They need to focus their efforts to stopping that. Huh?
Yeah, it's a small world. They're all sex slaves from different countries.
So they're kidnapped and they're just bolted to the damn floor.
Didn't I send you the video, Jeff? Didn't I send you the video about the sexuality stuff with Disney cartoons and all that?
Yeah.
That's the type of grooming they do, and I think that's mainly because, there's a lot of just I don't know. Everything was so oppressed a long time ago. That was their sneaky way of releasing it.
Right, and I get that, and I get that some of those videos that people don't like, and that's a little bit different than saying, well, they're worshiping Satan and not milk cartons.
No, hold on, Jeff. Hold on. Because let me tell you something. I found a website where I can order milk cartons with your face on the back of it, and I was going to get one for Kim and send it to her. So I think it's so funny that you just said that because you can put your friend's face.
That's hilarious.
Were you satanically trafficked by, either political party and or Hollywood?
Me?
No, Kim.
Oh, Kim, were you?
I think they take Kim before they take you. No offense, bro.
No, they poor Kim. No, have they, Kim? Were they trafficked? Were they doing that to you?
The Satanists.
Yes, I will do that for you.
In entertainment, there's high level cliques of the things that they do in the dark, and they don't really discuss it a whole lot.
It's always about having sex with something. Period. End of story. That's all they think about.
Right.
Yeah.
They go around, it's eyes wide shut. They go home. That's it.
Are there
crazy
pedophiles in Hollywood or in Disney or wherever else? Just like anywhere else in law enforcement, God knows there's plenty in the Republican Party, and the Democratic Party. It's all they throw stones at each other, but they're all the same fucking people.
Yes,
it's politics is politics, man.
Yeah, and they act like that. I totally get it. It's just funny to me. People are it's so idiotic. The Satanic Panic is ridiculous.
But not even that. You could take that even into today, where all these new conspiracy theories have actually manifested into people believe it and are now creating these ridiculous. It's like the satanic thing as well, except it's like now and today you've got a lot of shit with the government where people think QAnon or QAnon, and then you also have the birds are robots. All of our birds in the air are not. They're government drones. They're not actual birds.
It's all the firmament because the Earth is flat. Don't we all know this? Or
oh no, have you not heard the latest thing? Have you not heard the latest?
No, tell me. I need to know.
So beyond the ice wall is a whole nother world, and beyond their ice wall is another world, and each part of these, like, I guess, land masses are owned by very wealthy, rich families, and they control all these. So now, if you go on TikTok or you go on all these like social, there's several conspiracy theories that are like going out of control right now, and I can't keep up with them. And when people message me, I'm like, that's not real. I'm just telling you from based on what I've researched, this isn't real. There is where this stemmed from, like it came from this little seed that somebody put out there.
Right, and you can trace it back.
Oh yeah, but they don't, because all these videos start unraveling to where people are like, "Oh my gosh, I was on Google Earth. It makes sense," and they like start pulling these things.
That's the best one. It makes sense.
There's trees beyond the ice walls.
Let me ask you, why do they always have to blur Google Earth? They blur everything. You can only go out so far into the ocean, then it's a bunch of blue squares. Why do they do that?
Because that's where the Satanists live, dude.
Oh. To be honest, if you ask my opinion on it, like I did a lot of research. There was a lot of actual explorers from like the 20s and 30s that this is what they dove into. One of which being Mr. Bird. He actually studied and
It's at Endora.
Right.
Don't forget the pyramid.
They also like did a lot of work in Antarctica, and he actually found a hole, right? And he gave the coordinates of where this hole was in Antarctica that you could travel in and out of. If you go on Google Earth, it's blurred out. It's been blurred out. But this was in the 30s and 40s, 50s. So it's fascinating to me that it's all like just gone. Like I think, and again, and I don't care if I'm bug tapped, whatever. It's part of my life, unfortunately. But a lot that if you actually follow the train, like the train back, the trail takes you right back to the government. So they have government control over a lot of these. So somebody finds something, it's covered up, it's photoshopped, and now all of a sudden there's a new theory with it, and it's like, okay.
That's what it makes me think of, Craig, is Game of Thrones. But I got an argument with somebody at the shop at I don't know if you ever met Dave Troy that worked at Atomic. He was a big fat earther.
No, they didn't have Google Earth in the 30s.
And he they didn't have Google, and he
they didn't have internet.
He does a lot of like flat Earth content. And I know he does it for clicks and whatever. We're arguing, and he's like, "Well, the ice wall," and I was like, "What is it? Show me a picture of this ice wall." And it's like 30 freaking feet tall. Like, if people never heard of a grappling hook or like climbing axes and shit.
You got a warning? You got a warning for that? You seriously? Hold on. You got a warning for that?
What?
She said she got a warning. So, when you say something against the
Oh yeah. Government cover up, you'll get blocked.
You can't say it. Okay.
You can't use that.
Really? Wow. I wonder if that's some sort of cover up.
They have bots
I know,
listening.
it's a joke, Michelle.
You can say it. You can say it verbally. She said it popped up when she's the word. Yeah, interesting. You can say it, but they have bots that read all this stuff, and bots will be
Let me tell you something. So recently, I actually put it in my stories because I found this extremely fascinating. During Shark Week, they had made a video of like this ginormous megalodon shark coming out of the water, jumping and eating this ginormous seal. Okay, seals are not this big. By what looked like probably like some log flume ride that everybody was waiting to get wet. Well, they spliced it, so it looked like the shark was diving and made this big ginormous wave, and people were running. Instagram tagged me and told me that they had two fact checker companies fact check.
I saw that.
Yes, because I was misleading.
But you left it up, and when I read your post, it said that. Watch for scams. Fact checkers. This to be false.
Yes, I was like, shit, it's CGI. Of course,
it was a giant shark too, Jeff. It was like this ginormous megalodon-looking shark.
No, they got worse. No, they wanted the fact checkers wanted the public to know this was real. This was fake. This was the CGI video. But it got worse from there. They literally did a mermaid video. I'm sure Troy's seen it.
That's a great video, Dan. It's a great video.
It looks like this really weird humanoid that has like hair, and it's kind of like sunbathing on a dock, and it turns around, makes like a scream, and then it gets in the water. Well, my friend posted that on their page. I liked it, shared it. Well, guess what happened? Fact checkers got on me and got on him for posting it because we were misrepresenting real mermaids.
I have
Excuse
it.
me?
I'll touch on it in a minute, Dan.
Who has documents of real mermaids? Did Ariel reach out through her shell phone and get pissed off and say, that's not how I look? What is the misrepresentation of a real mermaid? Do you have it? Because I want to see what it is, fact checkers. So all of us in-house were busting out laughing about this because it was so ridiculous that they were fact checking these videos of misrepresentation. I'm like, are you freaking nuts? But you're allowing
all kinds of shit up and freaking.
Oh, it's so stupid. But they're allowing TikTok to go nuts right now about the zombie apocalypse in China that's now happening in the US. Have you guys seen this? That's the new thing that's happening.
The apocalypse is happening in China? Brittany, don't tell me this. I don't watch this kind of dumb shit.
No, what I'm telling you is people are jumping on the bandwagon, right? It's another one of these big viral trends. Somebody said something, and now all of a sudden there's zombies in China, and now we're starting to see them. Somebody filmed what looked like a person in a body bag, moving the body bag, and he's like, I'm working in the morgue, and the body's coming to life. It's happening here now, too. It's this certain chemical from a certain I'm like, there is no zombies. This is not real. Like, how is this happening? How is this becoming a trend?
That they
oh
buy
my God.
Or that there's,
it's unbelievable.
Underground molesting layers under the freaking Capitol building, and there's,
molester layers.
I don't know what to call them. I just call it home. Sorry, that was not really true, guys. I gotta put that out there, so I don't want to get blocked. But I mean, these things that are so obviously fake, like kangaroos, and I don't know. It's ridiculous. It scares me. And getting back to like this.
Yes, they did, Nikki. Yes, they did.
Now they're starting to, ban books and freaking. I mean, they banned the Diary of Anne Frank for a hot minute, and then they had to roll it back. But for God's sakes, why? Were they afraid that people are going to show Nazis in a bad light, or?
It's really sad because even our history books are slowly starting to be rewritten. I remember watching a video of this guy who was talking on a news platform, and I don't remember which news platform, but it really offended me because our grandfather fought in World War II. He was a Marine veteran and proud to do what he did for his country. And here's this little guy who's like 22 years old, Mr. Sensitive.
Always a little
Sorry
guy.
if I offend anybody, but he's sitting there on this news channel and he goes, I think it should be taken out because it's just very traumatizing and it really bothers me and it's very upsetting. And I just don't want to hear about the violence and I don't want to hear about the treacherous things that happen to these people. And I don't want to hear about war. It's very upsetting to me. I shouldn't have to be reminded through college.
Right.
So it's your history.
Because nobody remembers it. What does they say? Those who forget history are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah. But I'm sitting there going, I'm sorry it upset you, but that's my grandfather. That was his legacy. He was that was an honorable soldier who fought for his country. Right. No. Just because you want it out because it's offensive, then don't read it. Swipe it away, buddy.
Don't read it. That's why I say you don't have to look at stuff.
Don't read it. But I want that out there. I want my grandfather's legacy and all of his brothers that fought in the Marine Corps with him to be honored. And just to wipe that out because you're so sensitive, it bothers you. That upsets me. That upsets my family heritage.
Terrible, no, it has a fact of life, and it takes a special kind of person to freaking. Especially who volunteer to put their life out there like that, and
our servicemen and women,
it's brutal, and it's we're going to start putting ratings on books. This book is rated R because it talks about war and
NC-17. It's horror in it.
It doesn't matter what you are, man. Guy or girl, dude. You got to start raising warriors, dude, because it's going to get so sad. Everybody's so sensitive, man. Do you think the people who think like I think that are in major power? They're waiting for this to happen, and then they're going to be able to come and just kick your whole fucking wall down, your doors, anything they want. Yeah. You want to talk about grooming, folks?
Definitely. You want to talk about grooming?
I'm getting there, Samantha. I'm going to get there.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Oh, the proposed genital inspections in was it Ohio for the athletes that they wanted them to strip down so they can inspect their genitals to make sure that they're female or male. What the fuck? You want to talk about groomers? You're going to take a kid in a room and strip them down naked because your kid lost. And that's what it's all about.
Let me see if he's got a dick.
Stuck on? Oh, is
You got that dick down there.
I thought you got
Oh
stuck
my
on.
God.
Yeah,
No.
Look
What?
it up. It's unreal that this is going on right now in 2022. That they're in. See, thank you, Judy. If that's what you're replying to, I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's
That's
lost the game,
just
and they're
too
like,
far.
well, they must have cheated because my freaking kid can't lose. Well, we're gonna fucking check their genitals. You know,
That's
Oh
absurd.
my God. That we even talking about that is weird to me.
That's unbelievable.
So,
It's just a sick
it's
world.
creepy. I want to go wash just talking about it. I'm serious.
You don't want to go wash. You need. Remind me of T Mike. I got a gurgle. It's awesome.
T-Mike.
So I fucking love T Mike. Yeah, just all right. So let's jump to another topic too, because
Yeah, I don't want
talking about checking children's genitals, we're just going to move
I'm
on.
getting pissed.
We're going to move on.
They are.
Yeah, balls or no balls. So
Goes good segue.
So here's a thing where, like, we had talked about what to do if you live in a haunted house, right? A lot of people do. So while going to a haunted house, it sounds like exciting night out. Living the haunted house can be far less fun. After all, unlike new hardwood floors and reventilated bathrooms, haunting or haunts aren't really exactly that the real estate officers aren't exactly wanting to feature the most.
Nope.
It's also fair to say that most buyers would like to know if their home is haunted prior to closing, right? The cultural obsession with ghosts at this time and era is at an all-time high, from the resurrection of horror movies, zombies, and what feels like the entire schedule on the Travel Channel. Paranormal has become the new normal. So, after reading some of this stuff, we're going to talk in, what are you supposed to do if you discover a home you're living in is already haunted? So this person spoke with several psychics and signs of potentially haunted house and what to do next. So, if you think your home's haunted, you probably shouldn't second guess yourself, whether it's physical or intuitive. You'll definitely be able to know. The signs include movement of objects, whiffs of air, or blurs out of the side. Obviously, we know that blurs here and there. Close by or on the property or near you. Shadows and noises such as knocking, tapping. Medina also shares. It also shares unexplainable smells, and voices can also be heard for indication. But not every single ghost will make their presence known in such an obvious way. So this psychic's named Medina. I think that's pretty cool. So we'll go with that. And then I'll catch back up with the comments. Sensing a presence in a room, you'll feel a little off. You'll feel like a change in emotion in some senses, become angry or sad when you step into a room. You'll have strange dreams. You're feeling something trying to communicate with you physically. You will also start to see signs. It's also important to observe behaviors of domesticated animals. Pets are pretty good detectors. Watch for strange behavior in certain areas of the house, barking at stuff you can't see. Who hasn't seen that?
A lot.
Now, how to get rid of a ghost. This is interesting. I'm going to read this because I just think there's a lot of ways to do that. But I'm going to listen to what this has to say. Getting a spirit or ghost or entity to leave a home property can be far more challenging than identifying it. After all, they were here before you were. So she suggests the first defense is asking them to leave. Many ghosts just aren't cooperative. They become very territorial of their place and sometimes demanding. So if you demand that they leave and it doesn't work, this is where myself, or someone respectable, experienced medium will come in. We will go and we'll access the home and we will identify. This is what he's writing, not me. This is what he's saying. To talk to the entity and determine what it needs to have from us or what needs to be done to have it to move on. From a simple sage or incense cleansing to a full-blown ceremonial cleansing. It can be a process. Cleansing, clearing can last anywhere from a few minutes to a few days. Depends on how much of an attachment the presence has on that home or the people living in it. Another person, Kadi Pushi, is a psychic, healer, and executive coach and shares the key to getting spirits to leave from a place of strength. I make sure I feel grounded and strong in myself, standing in one area or walking the house. I point a finger around the physical space I'm declaring to clear. Then I say my name and my right to claim this space. It is purely my own. I ask the physical infrastructure of the house to hold only loving spirits. That's an interesting way, Brittany. Are you still there, Brittany? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm listening. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So based in Toronto, her business partner work approximately 75 homes a year. We clear homes for real estate agents, people who lease home to renters, people selling homes who have just purchased a new home with the energies that have been bothering them, torturing them, their children, their pets, or even their plants. We have also clients that don't feel comfortable in their homes because or their children are seeing or hearing things moving around in the night.
Groomers.
Interesting. That's nice, Jeff.
I know. Shame, Jeff. Shame.
So these women clear the space by using vibrational sound healing techniques they developed called sound Reiki. That's a really cool thing, sound Reiki, because Reiki is obviously performed in the in the massage therapy world or in the physical therapy world. So it's called vibrational sound healing technique called sound Reiki. That's kind of a neat thing. We discovered that with this technique, we could move energy from healing, clearing homes, properties much faster and with more effective results. That's really interesting. I really want to look into that. Sound Reiki. That's pretty
an
cool.
Ancient technique.
Yeah, but I want to see how they're doing it here. I think that's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
They also are able to practice this technique from a distance, which has the ability to see any ghosts or spirits on a property and clear the energies anywhere we have the address. So listen, when we become ghosts, Jeff, and we're messing around, they're going to be using sound cannons on us, and we're going to be chased out of our own place. What if I want to sit in my big skull chair, and someone else got it in their house now? I'm going to fuck with them. I don't want them coming to shoot me with a sound cannon.
Yeah,
well,
either.
I'll wait till you're done because there's a couple of things I want to throw out there.
Oh, well, it's not that I'm done. I'm going to finish what I said because I know Samantha want to hear some of that stuff too. But sometimes, despite the best efforts, it doesn't work. So here's how to peacefully coexist with your newfound spirit. Sometimes, despite the best efforts, a ghost will simply refuse to leave. That would be me or Jeff. If vacating the property isn't an option, the only choice that's left is for you to peacefully coexist with this spirit. So Medina suggests setting boundaries, which is good advice when dealing with any kind of roommate or guest. Make sure you stay on your side and they stay on theirs. He also notes that not all spirits are here to haunt. Some just want to keep doing what they were doing before, taking care of people. I had a woman who slept in my kids' room while they were sleeping. I would see her in passing, and I would get to the water in the middle of the night, and a couple times I caught her off guard and woke her up. She was going to leave, and I told her, don't mind her being here. It's okay, and I understood. I understood she was watching the kids and protecting them, and I was happy to have her there. So that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing.
A ghost guard.
We should see if we can find a ghost for your dog to watch your dog. I think that'd be pretty cool.
There's not the ghost would leave.
That's pretty awesome. We'll
for an entire night with my dog. It's like spend the night in a house with Jeff's dog. It's like
that
the new challenge.
Would be awesome. So one night, a spirit saved Medina's son from a very real danger. I was asleep and I woke up to her tapping my foot to wake me up. She told me to go check on my son. I immediately ran into the room and I saw that the sheet was wrapped around his neck and he was almost falling out of bed. I was trying not to panic and I felt the woman try to comfort me. I wrapped the sheet and positioned him back into bed and I thanked her and told her to make herself at home. That is really cool. Now, one last thing I'll touch on, Brittany, because this goes on and on. So I'm going to give you one of the last things. When it isn't paranormal activity.
Mm-hmm.
When many of us see or enter a space for the first time, there can be an intangible feeling of positivity or negativity. For example, entering a happy home often feels different than visiting someone's angry or going through a difficult time home.
Yeah.
Unlike many of their other colleagues, Melissa White doesn't believe in haunted houses. Rather, she interprets the source of experiences as leftover energy. As opposed to a ghost or a ghoul, I think it's something awful and horrific happens in a home, then it can leave an energetic imprint into the energy field in the home or on that property. She says, but most of the time, it's actually built up negative energy from the human that's living or the human stuff that has been going on or going on now in there. So I want to leave it at that. So there's a lot of way to peacefully coexist. So I'll let you go ahead, Brittany. What I'm going to do is go all the way back up here. Here we go. All right. So I got to start here. Imagine if we had a war and each tribe how to defend themselves.
Oh, my God, dude.
It's crazy. Yeah, it would be terrible. Samantha, I would move out. LOL. I hear voices constantly.
That's in your head, John.
I have a dog, sat in several homes, and a couple occurrences I've had really messed up, scary dreams that someone else is in the house. Yep. I think they can communicate. Freddie communicated with dreams. Nikki Norris, you're right. Like, how do they know that the cannons
I was thinking the same thing.
Well, because they say they remove them, and I guess what's the best answer I can give you for that is that the reports they're getting is that whatever was bothering them before is gone after they go and practice that ceremony. So the new person in the house says, haven't had anything left. Thank you. It's gone. I haven't experienced it again. And you got to remember, most mediums can see. So Ghosts are easy to see once you can see them. Like Jimmy Riffle is really good at feeling stuff, so he sees with a physical feel. So that's always a really cool thing to remember. But
He's such a
some of us
sweet
can see, and that might be how they know. A ghost told them, "Hey, we don't like sound cannons that will make us leave." Yeah, that's funny, Ma. Michelle Ray, that's my job. LOL.
I loved it.
Kimberly, bah, Judy, absolutely. I will 100% agree with that. Kayla's in. Hey guys, what's up, Kayla? How you doing?
Hey, Kayla.
So, with all that being said, that was an interesting one interesting article that I found, and this was in Forbes magazine. So it was like, it's more of a, it's not like the U.S. Inquirer. It's like Forbes. I mean, it's a legitimate magazine. They do legitimate things, and there are companies that actually hire mediums and psychics to clear houses for real estate agents. So that tells me, folks, that there's something very real there, that you can't make fun of it anymore. And so, they can, there's no such thing. There's energy fields all the way around us. We're nothing but an energy field. I think our soul is just a battery to this meat suit we walk around in. And I also think that would be, something to consider. And I mentioned this earlier. I was talking with my mom earlier, and I said, one of the things that I have an issue with a lot of these Protestant or Christian religion, Christian or Catholic Protestant religions, is they will argue with you that ghosts are not real. Okay.
Don't they
will believe in something that they can't, that a lot of them will argue, that's not real. It's bullshit. They're with the Lord. They're already gone. They won't even believe it. They'll tell you that those are just demons trying to scare you, but they won't believe that. But then they'll believe in something that they can't see, taste, or smell. But they'll tell you what you see or does is wrong. And I think that's where a lot of religion gets confused, because I think that everybody's got a right to religion, no matter what it is you want to believe. You don't have a right to shove it down someone's neck, and you also if someone comes to you with something you don't know, you should be just as accepting as you expect that person to be accepting of what you're trying to say. And so I noticed that in the paranormal world, there are a lot of like these super Christians, and they've interpreted the Bible to fit their needs, which is cool, because the Bible's very like that. You can do it, unless you're Jewish. You can't fix it. Right? If it's the Torah, it's what the Torah says, that new shit, that's some new shit's not supposed to be there.
See, I got both bases covered.
They do. So at the end of the day, that in itself to me has always been interesting, and I think we as a race of humans, the human race itself, doesn't matter what color you are. I know people are gonna be like, what does that mean? A race? Well, white people? No. Any race, any color, black,
race.
white, purple, people eater, whatever, is that we've been so held back over time, and we've been so conditioned to believe one thing, that they have taken your ability to see away from you by telling you what's right and wrong and what you should believe, and it's all wiring. And that goes back to religion, and the Bible states it very clear: rear up a child in the way he will go. That's so you cannot. That is programming at its finest. It's very hard for a person to change. It's very hard, especially when you're programmed as a child. Very hard.
Right. They tell you all the time that, you see this, you see that. Oh, that's not real. You don't believe that. That's just a dream. It's true. I mean, it dulls your senses.
And just remember that yes, it does actually. When you see it, Dakota, it looks really good. This thing is badass.
It does. It looks really sharp.
I like the stone. It says, "Here lies a dead guy." It's pretty funny. But yeah, when you think about that type of stuff, or entities, or movements like that, or anything like that in your presence, I think that there's a lot more going on than we really think. There's obviously a lot of that stuff. Nikki's saying, I believe I've seen something. Don't talk about it. And I do believe. And you know what? And that's good. And one day, Nikki, you'll have to come on and tell us about that, because that's what we do here. And I see stuff all the time. It's pretty awesome, actually. It gets to the point of sometimes it scares you. It's like, two people are crossing the room at the same time, kind of thing. So, and the more and more you get open to it, and the more you open yourself to it, you'll find that the more you meditate and open yourself to it, you'll actually see things. And not everything's bad. People, I think they try to scare you. Oh, you're going to let a monster in. You're going to let a demon in there, a monster. No, not letting any demons in. I know what I want to do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a really cool thing. You just got to meditate. You got to get your mind clear, man, and you got to open up and really do it. And so I think with that tonight, you got anything to say on it, Jeff? You got any cool
I just think I think that this was probably one of the best shows I've been on so far. This was
Thank
great.
you. I think it's been great too. It's been awesome.
It's been
Great. Yeah.
You know, I think we got a lot of cool stuff across, and you know, I'm enjoying doing it, man. Thank you for
I love having you here, Jeff, because you always got some great info, you know, and I can relate to you. We're from the same era, and you know, and we just trying to see things and going through it. Yeah, absolutely. You know, you had long hair and you hung feathers from your boot, man. Bon Jovi was a Satanist drug addict. He wasn't. He was like a big lover, and he had to shoot insulin. Remember? Oh, he's a heroin addict when he was shooting insulin because he had to, or he would die. What the fuck? I mean, just the stuff that we would go. So it's kind of great. It has been a wonderful show.
You know, all somebody's got to do is say it. Just got one person has to say it, and one more person has to believe it. That's all.
Like I said, I think I said it last when they were talking about Metallica. They want to take him out of Stranger Things because somebody screenshotted him waving goodnight, and it looked like a Nazi thing. They said cancel him. How fucking dumb is that?
It's been ridiculous, you know.
Because I grew up with Metallica from when they started as Kill 'Em All, when they threw Dave Mustaine out, and he started Megadeth, right? And I never, ever saw them do anything to do with supporting Nazism or saluting Hitler or any of that kind of stupid ass shit.
Yeah, it's yet they let that shit go on all the time anyway. It's just that's like, oh, it's got something to do with music, so let's go ahead and condemn it. Yet, you know, it's they'll let them burn books and sorry, I'm on a little rant about that later.
No, you're totally right. Like everybody who Craig knows, most of us old timers will get it. For those of you that don't, there's on the Iron Maiden album, there's one song called "Holy Smoke." I think you just need to listen to that song and read the lyrics to it and understand what they were talking about with that, because that was a really big deal. They were not a satanic group. A lot of people will say to me, "Oh man, you're a devil worshiper, whatever." I noticed that you have pentagrams on and stuff. I do wear pentagrams. Pentagrams keep demonic and evil spirits away from you in any type of. It's an old Wiccan practice. If you really realize or research what pentagrams really are, they're not from what Mōtley Crue made it look like, or Ozzy Osbourne trying to scare people. That was never what that was about.
I thought they had something to do with power ballads.
Yeah, exactly. It was a power ballad. I always had a pentagram. Pentagrams are awesome to me. When I see them, it takes me to a nostalgic time in my life, Jeff, where I'm like, man, that was awesome. We were fighting the fight. We were anarchists. We didn't give a fuck.
Damn right, man.
You know, but at the end of the day, I do wear them, and it keeps a lot of that bad juju off of me. And I may have created that in my head.
Bad juju.
Yeah, bad, but it doesn't prevent Jeff. So I'm going to need a couple of them then. But if
on your forehead,
sometimes if I forget or don't have it with me, sometimes once I notice I don't have it with me, sometimes things get a little shaky. It's like, okay, I kind of understand that. So you're starting to work a little bit with the paranormal field, and you're following those vibrations. You stick with those vibrations. You know, it's like pedaling a bike, man. If you're climbing a hill as fast as you can on a bicycle, and you change the gears like you're on flat ground, you're coming off that bike. Or you're going to rip your shins off or whatever else happens. So, I mean, it's all about keeping that steady flow, and I try to keep that moving, and so it's just interesting that there's so much going on with it. So much.
Yeah.
So make sure you know what you're talking about before you say it. Do we have time to hear Britt was going to say about ghosties? Yeah, I'll let you. Well, I don't care. I can stay on long enough for her to do that. We got plenty of time to do it. Sometimes we run 2 hours when Jeff's here.
Yeah, it's true. Jimmy doesn't have to get off and eat his dinner, so we're good to go, man.
Jimmy's already on the road. He's already had dinner. He's probably listening now. I can see him driving. Those motherfuckers. Ha ha. Love my music, and some of my music is something else. Awesome. Cancel culture babies. That's correct. Go ahead, Brittany. So we want to target this to Samantha because she likes ghosties. We need to take her one night out on we should take her to the Ma Barker house, or take her in to really try to. There's some cool places I know where we can get her feeling.
There's some other places too. Yeah.
I like to go where it's really fucked up, and I know that you're going to see stuff.
I like to go where it's quiet, where people don't go all the time and don't mess shit up. That's where I like to go.
I like to go where
people don't overuse a location over and over.
I like when we go and some bitch slaps Brittany in the face when we're walking in the hallway. I'm like, what was that? What do you mean, what was that? I love that shit. It's awesome. Go ahead, B.
Yeah.
Talk about ghosties. You were going to touch on it back when we were talking about what it would be like to live with them or eradicate them from your. So let's hear what you have to say.
So in some of the instances, like even I've come across over the years, I think people need to get out of their head that when they hear residual hauntings, you're not actually dealing with a ghost. like at all.
You won't.
So you need to clear that out of your head like right away. When you hear the word residual, you're not actually dealing with a ghost. And this is just my opinion from my own research that I've actually talked with other field investigators who work like constantly on certain locations and not just bounce around for TV to be paranormal famous. So a lot of the times, based on the actual house or the way that the structure is built, you're actually dealing with like the past and present at the same time. So when you're hearing footsteps, you're not actually hearing a ghost. They're not stomping around so that you hear them. That's not real. That doesn't happen. So what you're hearing is an echo of the past. So whoever is actually making those footsteps are actually making them in your home, but you're crossing over in a time bend. And that's actually been scientifically proven. So Einstein actually touched on this first, but then 2 other scientists studied this in Gettysburg and proved that it does exist. Wow. To where the person you're talking to and some EVPs that are telling you, I'm not dead, that's because they're really not. They're both having a ghostly encounter. This has been documented in journals that people have lived in a house talking about a certain encounter, come to find out that it matches certain things that happened to the other people that were saying we're having the same kind of encounters, but they're actually talking about each other. The way the lights were turning on, the way the footsteps were happening, the way certain doors opened. So there's a lot to it with residuals. So you're not, even if you see a shadow, what you don't understand is our time, time is just a number. It's our space and time we're still figuring out. So sometimes when you see shadows, yeah, we do have spirits. Spirits are real. Ghosts are real. But there are times where you're actually just seeing a glimpse of somebody that was living in your house. Could have been even a week ago. It could actually be an image of yourself. Like that's how tight that it's looping back in some incidences. And a lot of it happens around a lot of high amounts of conductors like water, limestone, quartz crystal, which Florida is like, let me tell you, whoosh.
I think the East Coast.
Yeah. So a lot of this stuff happens quite frequently. So just to get a little ease on there, if someone's living in a home and they're like, well, I noticed that my light, you need to realize, like, has your house been changed for the last like 30 years? Okay. If not, it's probably the person that lived there who's living there currently in their own time, turning the light on. Just keep that in mind. It's not. Now, if you say it out loud and they turn the light on, like actually going with what you're like telling them to do, then they might actually be hearing you in their time frame. Don't just immediately jump that it's a ghost. Now, like what Troy has seen, where he's actually seen someone's relative who has been in the house at the time that that person's in the house, that's something completely different. That is an entity making sure that the person who's most open sees them and validates it to the person that's visiting, if that makes sense. So that
like
is something
like when they were fondling Jimmy in that room.
Exactly.
He's like, oh, they're touching me. Something's touching my hair. It was badass, Jeff.
Yeah. I have a photo to send
go ahead,
you,
finish, Brittany. I'm sorry. I got sidetracked. That's what the reefer does to me. Gets me all over the place.
I have a photo to show you really quick in regards to what we saw. So people can actually get an idea. And I know you'll agree with me. I hope that I didn't delete it. I hope to God I didn't delete it. Anyway,
I want to go back to what Nikki said. Nikki North said that you guys should go to Waverly. What's that, Brittany? You probably know about that. Let's go.
Waverly Place?
She said Waverly. You guys should go to Waverly.
Well, wait, it depends. Is Waverly in Florida? Are we talking about Waverly Hills or Waverly Place?
Well, I don't think. I think she lives up out of. I'm not going to say where she lives. That's not fair. But she does not live in Florida. And
does not live in Florida. Okay, I want to see what she brings up.
But what's Waverly, Nikki? That'd be awesome. Let us know.
Because tell us the location because there's actually several Waverlys. So, maybe
there's one by her, and I would go to it.
Yeah, because there's a hotel called Waverly.
She said it's in Tennessee. It's in Tennessee.
Is that the hotel? Is that the Nikki? Is that the hotel?
The Waverly Hotel in Tennessee, Nikki. It might lag a little bit. No, Michael. I think she's saying Tennessee. There might be one in Rhode Island, but I think the one she's referencing is Tennessee.
Oh, here it is. I found it.
Okay, the picture.
So if anybody would, no, a picture. I found a picture.
The picture. So okay, go for it.
When Troy and I talk about the hospital. Oh, yes. The Waverly Hospital in Tennessee. Oh, I know what she's talking. Okay.
Let's do it.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I know what she's talking about.
We should ask Samantha. She knows. It's an old asylum. God, she's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm scared of her.
No, it's good. You should. There's so many places, though, to remember to document. That's the craziest part is in the paranormal scope. There's a lot of buildings, and trying to remember all the buildings, all the hospitals, all the prisons, all the locations that are extremely haunted is really hard. It's not like, unless you live in that area, it's easy to remember your area. But when you start going to other cities and other states, it's it's hard. And I'm sorry, it isn't like you see on TV. It ain't like that when you're really investigating. Just tell it to you how it is. Sorry, folks.
No, it's pretty
and the
fun,
SLS camera, don't get me started on the SLS camera. Do not get me started. It's
I won't, because I don't know what that is.
I don't know what it is. So
okay, so really quick for those that don't know what an SLS camera is, it all is created. So when you're watching TV or you're watching Ghost Adventures or you're watching these things on Travel Channel and you see the little stick figure come into frame and it's like I'm crawling up your arm. That's not real. Okay. So what's happening is it's actual like AI software that was created from Xbox Connect. They morphed it into this new kind of platform to edge up the paranormal space to document these entities that are around you. But what's happening is it's a laser light that's projecting a field that's about 8 foot by 12 feet, basically in proximity. And it picks up shadows. It picks up light. What we don't realize is on certain walls, we're actually creating a shadow that we don't see in the dark. But these lasers are prone to do that. So the SLS camera is trying to create an avatar from what it's seeing. So it makes a human body shape, right? So it could be this big or it could be 7-8 feet tall because it's going off reflecting lights to try and make a figure. So people immediately see these in this SLS camera. So it's just Xbox Connect now turned into a paranormal device called an SLS camera. I've seen it used. I've used it, but there are ways to use it to debunk a situation, not just jump on it immediately that you have a figure. You can literally ask it when you're standing still to wave if it's a real entity. And it'll wave if it is. But if it doesn't move, I'm going to tell you 92% of the time to 95% of the time.
92? Only 92?
Like 92 to 95. There is a 5% in there that sometimes it does actually capture something that's real.
You got that from a Christmas song, didn't you?
Okay.
What, 92%?
From
no,
kids
92 degrees
from
was a
1
band.
to 92.
Oh.
And I always thought so you were fucking dead after 92 every time I heard that song. Go ahead. Sorry, sidetrack. But yeah, regressing. Go ahead. So
anyway,
there's a way to use that
to
camera
me,
properly.
Yeah, there's ways to use it, but you need to keep in mind that it is literally just Xbox Connect. It's trying to make an avatar based off every single thing in the room. Like people will be filming a table. They're like, there's a person on the table. No, it's picking up reflections, trying to build a figure. I'm so sorry, but that's not what it, but TV blows it out of proportion. So for those of you that love it, I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it is not great software at all. Anyway.
Show your photo, Britt.
Okay, so when Troy and I talk about the face that we saw in St. Augustine, there was an object that Troy and I actually grew up with. Not just
in that hallway.
I'm just, except for Jimmy. Jimmy was the only one that could feel it. But
he's always on the floor getting feeled. Oh, Jimmy.
But
they love him. I like to touch him
too.
too.
Came in the room and it was really quite great. Because it actually looked at us and looked back, but it was the same bioluminescent color, moved almost like a jellyfish motion. But when it came out of the room, I was describing this to our mom and I was saying, I kind of like, and she was like, what about that statue I had like when we grew up, but it was painted blue. So it really distorts. But long story short, I was watching HDTV and the person that was getting their house refixed had that statue all in white. And when you see this is exactly what Troy and I saw. And Troy's going to go, holy shit.
Okay. So hold on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove Jeff and Mai's camera real quick.
Okay.
And just so the picture's real big for you. And that way, while you're talking about it, then when you're done, because it might be hard for somebody to do that. So hold on one second.
Okay. This is literally what it was. I mean, you couldn't document this any better. Okay.
All right. So go ahead. Oh, yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah, that's really interesting.
It came out of the wall very long like that. And that's all we saw was like this much. And it was just moving like a jellyfish.
So if you can imagine, if you're looking at that photo, if you can imagine, it turned to turned to us and looked. It was so badass.
But
guys.
the color wasn't just
badass.
white. It was like bioluminescent.
Right. That was cool.
It was the most ridiculous. But that's like the best picture to document the face of what this thing looked like and how elongated the neck was and how it like was moving, looking at Jimmy. And then it just slowly looked, it looked like it was in water. It just moved so beautifully. But the color was it's almost like it sparkled. That damn color was it was like if you took white glitter that changes in rainbow color, that's what it looked like, all compact into this like beautiful, God, just crazy. But that was like, I saw that. And then on my last note in regards to energy is very powerful. if you are in a building and all of a sudden you just feel tense, it's not the people, it's actually the energy in the room from the people. So you might all of a sudden start feeling anxious, angry, frustrated, sick to your stomach. All of a sudden you're sweating. You don't know why you're sweating. This is all based off of negative energy that's literally dwelling and living in your freaking space. And one way to clear that, if you're feeling it in your home, get a bunch of the large quartz crystals, put them in the corners of your room, leave them there for about a week. When you come back, those quartz will be black. It's sucking the negative energy out of your living space. It's an old practice. It's something really good to do.
I'm going to try it and see what happens.
Sometimes they crack. You'll see that they get really gray. Maybe they change to like a grayish blue and they'll actually crack because it can only take so much of it. So these are things to pay attention to. But
so what do you do with them when you're done? Rub them all over yourself?
No, you just bury them, get rid of them. Get rid of them off your property. You're removing them from your property.
So you put them on someone else's property you don't like.
Cleansing. There's a cleansing for it too. You can look up. There's ways to cleanse the quartz. But I know that most people just get rid of them. I mean, most times they give them back to like, there's certain people that actually you can send them back to or give them to, and they'll cleanse them and give them back to you so you can keep recharging and using them. But they're recorders. Quartz crystals are recorders. So they record all of the dark, all of the negative energy, all the evil energy, whatever is in your home. It takes it out and it removes it. So you're just recording it, documenting it, and removing it.
See, what I would
basically
do
what you're doing
is I'd keep the receipt and then I would return the crystals after they're all
black.
Yeah, and then the people who are there, if it's legit, they're going to be like, listen, get that out of my store.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't even have that in your car, young man.
Like if you're driving home and you're like, man, I feel so good. Today was a great day. But the moment you get in your house, all of a sudden you feel overwhelmed, stressed, like you're having a panic attack. Your anxiety is up.
Yes.
It's not your home and it's not you. It's the energy within your home. So you need to remove that energy. You have to remove whatever negative, whatever.
I'm going to go get some tomorrow.
Dark evil feeling that is. You have to get it. Because it'll actually make you feel like someone's watching you. Your hair will stand up on the back of your neck as if you're being watched. That's how intense like energies can make you feel. I've been in places that have made me want to throw up. So you just have to keep that in mind.
So I'll need 24 of them for each corner upstairs.
Just give the big ones.
Right.
So if I get a big one, I just put it in the corner, right, and leave the door cracked. Can the energy get underneath the door?
You don't have to leave the door cracked. It just sometimes it takes a week. It depends on how much is in there and how much it needs to absorb. So you just let them absorb. That's
a really good idea. No one's going to believe that. I bet Amazon will deal it to you. Oh, there you go. That's what they say.
Yeah, you can. You can buy quartz crystals at Amazon.
Are they real quartz though?
You can literally go out into your backyard and dig up quartz crystals in Florida. Just
it's true.
Put them in your room.
Yeah, but they already look like little white rocks, though, don't they? Where do you find those at?
You can go.
When I dig in my backyard and thing, I only find shark's teeth and shit.
You can buy real quartz crystals on Amazon. Quartz crystals are like a dime a dozen. You can buy them. You can find them everywhere. So you just have to have. You can put them under your bed for a better sleep at night. You can put them under your bed because it removes all the negative thoughts, negative energy, so you sleep better. So your brain can actually quiet. I mean, people sometimes wear quartz crystals because it pulls and extracts the negative energy out of your body so that you don't carry it with you all the time. And it is
that's
really
a good idea.
important.
I'm gonna have to start wearing some too.
Go to the flea market out by Hillsborough River State Park. They have tons of shit like that.
Yeah,
you have to tell me where it's at. I'll go with you one day, Jeff. Let me know.
I'll go. The Sassa flea market. I used to not be able to go because I used to work on Sundays, but now I don't. So maybe one Sunday.
Call me, man. I'll go over with you, and especially when you buy another bike.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say I need to get a bike one of these days.
Yeah, you can now. You might as well. You got time to ride it.
Yes, it is a healer too. Quartz crystals are used in so much stuff. People do not realize how much quartz crystals right now, I kid you not, are in your laptop, in your phone, and in your watch. It's recording everything you're doing.
Sure.
That's what it does. They shave it down.
I have a friend that's watching, and she texted me. She said quartz, Florida water sage, and black tourmaline.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what Renee was saying earlier too. Michelle Renee said.
And black salt.
New friend of mine.
Black salt.
Nice. Go.
Yeah.
She does Reiki
black
too.
Salt too. You can do
that's
black
good
salt
stuff. There you go.
Actually, if you do that, you can do black salt in your window frames and in your door wells. So that way no negative or dark energy or entities can actually enter into your home. You're basically
I would just have them. I'll just call the church and have them come over and do a little squirt of holy water on there. That's all you need. I shut them a hold of my conta. It's done right there. I don't have to spend all that money on courts, right, Jeff?
Yeah,
I got the big Walmart Super Center. I've got Mall of America church next to me over here.
And don't forget too.
Called Bay Life.
I will end it on
airplanes can land in that place.
I will end on my note that the Vatican does recognize spirits, just so you know. The Vatican recognize ghostly entities and spirits.
The Bible talks about the Holy Spirit all the time.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, they are not anti-ghost at all.
And the Holy Ghost moved across the water. What was the Holy Ghost moving across the water for? I already talked about it. I'm not going to get into it again because the Bible is full of ghosts and wizards. I don't care what you say. And Jesus was a wizard too. He was a fucking like Gandalf.
Bible, I'm pretty sure.
He went down and fought the dragon and shit, and he came back, and the other guy was turning shit into snakes and shit and splitting the Red Sea. He was all kinds of. Jesus said, "Fuck that. We've had enough water. We're going to turn this whole bowl of wine," and all the fish start falling out of the sky. Think about it.
Hey, listen. In a nutshell, it was stated that we live on this earth, but we are not of this earth. So just remember that.
That's scary. And on that note, folks, we really appreciate you coming out, and make sure that you check out on my social media. If you go into my Instagram, which is crocstore.tv, go into my story highlights, and there is a tab in there that will show you what you can click if you want to go to the Salem tour. We'll be going to Salem the 28th through October 2nd, the Vampires Ball. It's an all-inclusive trip. You can go ahead and check it out. We've got a decent amount booked now, so I'm kind of happy about that. But we're always ready for some more. So if you guys can come along, and like I said, it's only money. Don't be scared. Spend some money. It's all-inclusive. Everything's covered. You just have to show up. That's it. Food, stay, transportation, tickets, fares, everything's done. Yeah, so make sure you do that and check it out. Click that link. It's going to be the run to Salem meets the ghouls and witches. And you have a great night, too. It's good to see everybody. Corey, Craig, Michelle, Samantha, everybody that's been on here tonight.
Elena, thanks for coming and watching.
Yeah, everybody that's on the end here. Everybody. Nikki, thanks for joining us tonight. It was good. And we all want to say good night. Thanks for support, and we will see you guys soon.